1 Chronicles Chapter Summaries, 1-29. Published by Vise. The book of 1 Chronicles offers valuable insights into the history and lineage of the Israelites, particularly focusing on King David's reign. These 1 Chronicles chapter summaries will provide a concise overview of the key themes and events found within this book. When you are done reading here, you may also want to check out our complete list of Bible chapter summaries for every book of the Bible. Book of 1 Chronicles Summary by Chapter. Chapter 1. Tracing the Lineage. This chapter delves into the genealogies, tracing the lineage from Adam to the leaders of the 12 tribes of Israel. It begins with creation and meticulously lists the descendants of Noah's sons, highlighting the ancestry of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Ultimately, the chapter focuses on the descendants of Jacob, leading to the 12 tribes that form the foundation of the Israelite nation. Chapter 2. The 12 Tribes of Israel. Building upon the previous chapter, this chapter details the descendants of Jacob's 12 sons, each forming a distinct tribe within Israel. It outlines their geographical settlements and prominent individuals within each tribe. Notably, the chapter emphasizes the lineage of David, highlighting his ancestry and foreshadowing his future significance. Chapter 3. Descendants of David. This chapter narrows the focus to the descendants of King David, meticulously listing his sons and their families. It differentiates between David's sons born in Hebron before his reign in Jerusalem and those born after his ascension to the throne. The chapter holds historical significance as it establishes the lineage of future Judean kings and lays the groundwork for understanding the messianic line in Jewish tradition. Chapter 4. Descendants of Judah. This chapter specifically explores the descendants of Judah, one of the 12 tribes and the lineage that will house the future kingdom of Judah. It details various clans within the tribe and prominent individuals. Notably, the chapter mentions Caleb, a figure of faith from the book of Numbers, and highlights the lineage of individuals known for their skills and wisdom. Chapter 5. Descendants of Simeon and Reuben. Similar to the previous chapters, this section focuses on the genealogies of the tribes of Simeon and Reuben, providing details about their settlements, families, and prominent figures. While these tribes may not play a central role in the larger narrative of the book, the chapter contributes to a comprehensive understanding of the Israelite ancestral landscape. Chapter 6. Descendants of Levi. This chapter dives deeper into the descendants of Levi, the tribe designated for priestly service in Israel. It details the lineage of Aaron, the first high priest, and his sons, outlining the various priestly families who will carry out temple duties. Additionally, the chapter mentions the descendants of Moses and his brother Aaron, further enriching the historical context. Chapter 7. Descendants of Issachar and Benjamin. The chapter continues the genealogical record, detailing the descendants of the tribes of Issachar and Benjamin. It provides information about their settlements, families, and notable individuals within each tribe. While the chapter expands on the historical background, the focus remains on establishing the lineage of different societal groups within Israel. Chapter 8. Descendants of Manasseh and Ephraim. This section explores the genealogies of the tribes of Manasseh and Ephraim, both descendants of Joseph, son of Jacob. It outlines the various clans within each tribe and mentions notable individuals, including Joshua, the leader who succeeded Moses in guiding the Israelites into the Promised Land. Chapter 9. The inhabitants of Jerusalem. Shifting from the focus on tribal lineage, this chapter delves into the inhabitants of Jerusalem after the Babylonian exile. It lists the priests, Levites, and descendants of King David who returned and repopulated the city. This section serves as a bridge, connecting the genealogical emphasis of the first part of the book with the historical events recounted in the latter chapters. Chapter 10. Saul's Reign and Death. This chapter marks a significant shift from the extensive genealogies towards a historical narrative. It recounts the reign of Saul, the first king of Israel. It highlights his initial victories and leadership qualities but also focuses on his disobedience to God and subsequent rejection as king. The chapter culminates in Saul's tragic demise, setting the stage for the rise of David. Chapter 11. David anointed as king and early victories. This chapter continues the historical narrative, focusing on the rise of David. It recounts his anointing as king, his initial victories against the Philistines, and the establishment of Jerusalem as the capital of his kingdom. The chapter emphasizes David's character traits, highlighting his bravery, leadership, and reliance on God. Chapter 12. Support for David. This chapter details the individuals who joined David during his rise to power. It lists warriors from various tribes who pledged allegiance to him, demonstrating the growing support for his leadership. The chapter portrays David as a unifying figure, attracting individuals from different backgrounds who believe in his potential to lead Israel. Chapter 13. The Ark brought to Jerusalem. This chapter focuses on David's efforts to establish the Ark of the Covenant, a sacred symbol representing God's presence in Jerusalem. It recounts the initial unsuccessful attempt and the tragic consequences of violating proper procedures for transporting the Ark. Following consultation with religious authorities, David successfully brings the Ark to Jerusalem with proper procedures and celebration, signifying the city's growing religious significance. Chapter 14. Victories over Philistines and Moabites. This chapter chronicles David's military victories over the Philistines and Moabites, solidifying his position as a powerful king. The chapter details specific battles, highlighting David's strategic and tactical skills. These victories expand the borders of the Israelite kingdom and establish David's reputation as a formidable leader. Chapter 15. The Philistine Challenge and David's Faith. This chapter recounts another encounter with the Philistines. Initially facing setbacks, David seeks guidance from God through the prophet Gad. Following instructions, David defeats the Philistines and demonstrates his dependence on God for success, even amidst challenges. Chapter 16. Bringing the Ark to Jerusalem, second attempt. Building upon earlier events, this chapter details a successful attempt to bring the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem. David composes a psalm of praise, celebrating God's faithfulness and the establishment of the Ark in the city. This event further strengthens the connection between Jerusalem and God's presence among the Israelites. Chapter 17. David's covenant with God and preparations for the temple. This chapter focuses on a significant covenant established between David and God. God promises to establish an everlasting dynasty through David's lineage, and in return, David expresses his desire to build a temple as a permanent dwelling place for the Ark of the Covenant. While the construction itself will fall to David's son, the covenant ensures the continuation of David's legacy and establishes the future building of the temple as a central theme. Chapter 18. Further victories and conquests. This chapter continues the historical narrative, detailing David's further military conquests. He defeats various surrounding nations, expands the borders of the Israelite kingdom, and establishes himself as a powerful and respected ruler. The chapter emphasizes David's strategic skill and his ability to unite different tribes under his leadership. Chapter 19. The Ammonite War and David's Sin. This chapter narrates David's conflict with the Ammonites and his personal failure. While achieving military victory, David commits adultery with Bathsheba, wife of one of his soldiers, Uriah. This act of sin paves the way for future consequences and family conflict within David's household. Chapter 20. Joab's victories and the death of Uriah. This chapter delves deeper into the consequences of David's sin. It details Joab's successful military campaign against the Ammonites, a victory overshadowed by the deliberate death of Uriah, orchestrated by David to conceal his adultery. This chapter highlights the human cost and ethical complexities arising from David's actions. Chapter 21. David's census and a plague. This chapter recounts David's decision to conduct a census, which displeases God. While scholars debate the specific reasons for God's anger, the chapter describes a subsequent plague that devastates the land. David recognizes his mistake, repents, and offers sacrifices, bringing an end to the plague. The chapter emphasizes the importance of obedience and the consequences of acting outside God's will. Chapter 22. Preparations for the Temple Mount. This chapter focuses on David's preparations for the future construction of the temple. He acknowledges that due to his past actions, he will not be the one to build it himself. However, he actively gathers materials and prepares the Temple Mount, ensuring the project will continue under his son Solomon's reign. Chapter 23. David's Last Words and Preparations. This chapter marks David's final moments. He delivers a final speech, reminding the people of their covenant with God and emphasizing the importance of obedience. Additionally, he establishes leadership roles within various societal groups, ensuring a smooth transition to his son Solomon's reign. Chapter 24. Dividing the courses of the priests and Levites. Building upon David's final arrangements, this chapter details the division of priests and Levites into specific service groups. This organizational structure ensures the smooth functioning of the temple and religious activities within the Israelite society. Chapter 25. Temple Musicians. This chapter focuses on the organization of temple musicians. David, recognizing the importance of music in praising God, establishes various groups to perform music during temple services. He assigns roles to individuals from the families of Asaph, Heman, and Jeduthun, utilizing a system of lots to determine the specific service schedule for each group. This ensures a structured and ongoing musical component in temple worship. Chapter 26. Gatekeepers and Officials. David also establishes order for the temple gates and appoints specific individuals responsible for guarding various entrances. Additionally, he assigns roles to officials overseeing various tasks within the temple complex, including overseeing the treasury and maintaining the storerooms. This chapter highlights the importance of organization and proper management within the temple, ensuring its efficient functioning for both administrative and religious purposes. Chapter 27. The 12 Divisions of the Army. Shifting focus from the temple, this chapter details the structure of the Israelite army. David establishes 12 divisions, each consisting of 24,000 soldiers, and assigns leadership roles to specific individuals. These divisions serve for 1 month out of the year, ensuring a well-organized and rotational system for maintaining a standing army. The chapter emphasizes the importance of military preparedness for the nation's security. Chapter 28. David's Charge to Solomon. In this chapter, David delivers a final charge to his son Solomon, who is soon to be crowned king. He emphasizes the importance of remaining faithful to God and following his commandments. He acknowledges the great task of building the temple and encourages Solomon to undertake it with unwavering faith and dedication. David assures Solomon of success if he adheres to God's instructions and seeks his guidance throughout the project. Chapter 29. Preparations for the Temple and David's Farewell. The final chapter of 1 Chronicles showcases the enthusiastic support for the temple project. David expresses his gratitude for the generous contributions of resources from the people of Israel. He offers a heartfelt prayer to God, praising his faithfulness and acknowledging his ultimate authority over everything. David expresses his joy in witnessing the preparations for the temple and acknowledges that his time is coming to an end. He leaves a legacy of leadership, faith, and devotion to God, paving the way for Solomon's reign and the construction of the temple.